To me, it's a bit like painting. I'll keep going until I can.
Wow.
It's actually more narcissistic or egotistical to be nervous because you're making it about you.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you've got to focus on the fact that the film is bigger than your nerves.
Mm-hmm.
So.
반갑습니다. 이승국입니다. 영화 글래디에이터 2의 개봉을 맞이해서 작품의 연출을 맡으신 리들리 스콧 감독님과 작품의 주연을 맡은 배우 폴 메스칼을 만나볼 수 있는 기회가 생겼습니다. 그날 나누었던 대화 바로 시작합니다. I'm Singuk from South Korea. It's a great honor to meet you, Mr. Ridley Scott. Again. Watching trailer for Gladiator 2, we see ancient Rome, crowded Colosseum, young emperor, furious gladiator. These images are reminders of the first Gladiator movie back in 2000. But I'm sure you didn't make this sequel just to replicate the formula you used for 24 years ago.
Yeah,
using this familiar image, what kind of new epic story did you come up with, and what should you expect from this movie?
Well, writing a script is the hardest single thing to do, and you need the help of a writer. But I tend to sit with writers quite a long time, and I want to make sure the components that I have already more intuitively got in my mind are included. So, cut a long story short, I eventually chose David Scarpa, who had already done two things for me. He did Napoleon. And we sat at a table and literally talked for weeks about forming the Lego kit of the story. And then once you get this, all the components on the table, the gaps suddenly start to make sense and fill in and fit. Then he has to go away and write it.
Okay, that was a great answer. Thank you for that. And you mentioned your intuitive decisions while making this film. Thanks to your drawings when you have for the movies.
Drawings are everything for me.
Yeah.
I've completely planned a film.
True. So thanks to those drawings, and you're famous for having the eye to see the scene and know how to make a scene and set the cameras. So during the whole process of making this film, which scene or which moment required your ability the most?
I always go in with trepidation because the scale is so big. And so I think we're due to do the sea battle at the beginning in 10 days, and we did it in 3. Because I can go in with 11 cameras and think, oh shit, it's a huge canvas. And I know I built 3 full-scale ships. They can move 100 tons. And they can rocket and do this with it and go 30 miles an hour. And so I positioned 3 ships for, this is a simple example. And the ships have all got oars, people rowing.
Okay.
The oars are sawn off so they're short. And on that, they will digitally sample them and put in another 100 ships. And they'll attack the walls. On the walls, I've got 500 people. I'll put in another 10,000 digitally. Then the last thing I do, where there's sand, I put in sea. That's the challenge.
Wow, okay. And that was a great invitation to the movie. And and my last question. For about a half century, you've given numerous great movies, and yet you're famous for working restlessly until this point. So, as a master like you, who has accomplished so much, what motivates you to restlessly create?
The job's a passion. You know, I mean, if you're a painter, you paint forever. If I'm a filmmaker, to me, it's a bit like painting. I'll keep going until I can.
Wow. Thank you for the simple but profound answer. And I hope to see many more movies from your hands. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Bye.
Paul Mescal, I'm Singuk from South Korea. Again, it's a great pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Okay. As an actor, you're already building a great career, including Oscar nomination for After Sun. But being in this movie, which is called Gladiator 2, directed by Sir Ridley Scott, packed with great names in industry, and watch your name appearing before anybody else's names appear on the screen, it must be more than just a joy. So how was it to watch it as an audience?
Yeah, it's bizarre. When I saw it for the first time and you see your name come up, it is kind of this beyond your wildest dream to be like the lead in a Ridley Scott film, but also to be a lead in a film called Gladiator 2, which is associated with, I think, one of the greatest films ever made, is something that nobody can take away from me. It's something that I wear with great pride, yeah.
True. And we can go on with how huge this project is and how burden you must have felt during the film process. But if you look at from the different perspective view, you being the movie means Sir Ridley Scott
has chosen you to lead this movie because he believes in you and he believes in your ability to act in this huge project.
Yeah.
So filming this movie, what was the focus or main thought you had to provide this movie with the things you had?
My focus was the same as it would be with any role. You have to be relentlessly curious about the person that you're playing. You've got to become an expert on how you think they think and talk and walk and all of the basic things, and that doesn't change just because the film is much bigger. The same rules apply. So I have like developed a confidence with how I like to act, like what interests me about this whole profession. And then whether people like it or not, that's the only way I know how to do it. So that's never gonna really change.
And everything you did in the movie, it worked. I love your character.
Thanks very much.
Really, really.
Thanks.
So let's just talk about your character a little bit.
Yeah.
From the trailer of the movie, we realize your character is Lucius, son of Lucilla from the first movie, and grandson of the great Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah.
And from the trailers, we officially know that your father is Maximus, the hero of Gladiator.
Yeah.
And yet we see you on the run from Rome, and you hate Roman Empire. You want to take down the Roman Empire, which is basically your home.
Yeah.
So reading the character from the script and building him to appear on the screen, what was your main focus for the character?
That each beat in the film had to be incredibly present tense. It sounds like a basic note, but like you can't play the end at the beginning or in the middle. So you've got to let him fully inform the film with his rage against Rome, because then it makes his discovery about his bloodline and everything else, I think, more interesting. Because he's got a decision to make then. It's like, does he continue trying to tear Rome down, or does he try and then protect it?
And correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, this is your first periodic film. And Sir Ridley Scott is famous for his world building, huge sets combined with VFX. And he also uses famous for usage of multi-camera, meaning he rolls many cameras at the same time on the set. And he also had to go through many heavy action sequences, not to mention facing the great names in the industry. So among all the experience you had in the filming process, what was the most memorable moments?
The end of the filming process after the strike was when I spent a lot of time shooting the scenes with Denzel. So that was a very precious time to me with Ridley, Denzel, myself, filming the end of the film. It's just a time that I'll look back on with like great fondness.
And I find it quite interesting. You mentioned what Ridley Scott told you first, like you're so nervous. He smacked you on the back and said, "You're nervous, no good for me." So if you go back to that day and you meet yourself on the set of Gladiator 2, will you say the same thing to that guy?
Yes.
Really?
I think it's a piece of advice. Whether I'm successful or not in kind of removing those nerves is a different question, but it's what he's saying is it's actually more narcissistic or egotistical to be nervous because you're making it about you. And actually you've got to focus on the fact that the film is bigger than your nerves. So I'll constantly remind myself of that, I think, moving forward.
While you're constantly reminding of yourself of that advice, like I said, you're already a great star of your generation, and this movie will surely shed some lights on your career. And global audience who never know about your name will know you from this movie. So from this moment on, what kind of career path do you want to build as an actor?
The plan hasn't changed. I want to continue making a mix of bigger films with a focus on independent films, and then when the right big film comes along and people want me to be in it, I'll 100% do it. And I also want to go back and do more work on the stage. So the plan is to keep doing the same thing, I think.
I hope that plan goes forever, because I love your acting, I love your ability. So
thank you very much.
I hope to watch you in the many movies and many series and many stages. Thank you very much for the
Thanks
answer.
very much.
And
Good to meet
hope
you.
the movie does great.
Thanks. See you later.
네, 그렇게 그날의 대화가 마무리되었습니다. 글래디에이터 2는 11월 13일 국내 개봉하니까요. 궁금하신 분들은 극장에서 확인하시길 추천드립니다. 영상 마음에 드셨다면 구독해주시는 거 잊지 마세요. 그러면 전 다음 영상에서 인사드리겠습니다. 감사합니다. 바이바이.
Lucius, this ring belonged to Maximus. I see him in you.
Rome has taken everything from me.